Hello, it's Naked at Night with Lance and Rick. Lance is drawing me. We yell at each other.
What do you feel like talking about now, Rick? You got a topic?
Let's quickly talk about the debt limit ceiling that we're about to hit. Um, the U.S. has to vote, the Congress has to vote to approve expenditures above a certain level periodically. And we're about to run out of money unless we vote to spend above a certain limit by as early as June 1st, which is less than 10 days from now. And we've never defaulted that if we run out of money, then the U.S., a number of things happen. We can't pay interest on bonds. We can't send Social Security checks to old people. Our credit worthiness takes a hit internationally. The stock market gets all crashy. It's bad. We've never defaulted before, but we've come close. I'm lucky enough to have some money invested in the stock market. I've taken much of it out and put it, now, for the past, since the crash of 2008, savings accounts haven't paid beans until about the past year. So if you pull money out of stocks and bonds, you're going to earn nothing, except in the past year, interest rates have been raised to try to stave off inflation. So you can get a CD for 5%, you can get a money market savings account for 4.8%. So I've pulled a lot of money out of stocks and have put them into savings at 5%, which is, a nice way to get paid for avoiding the risk of a, 10%, 15% stock market correction if we come close to defaulting on the debt. I did a smart thing right as COVID hit. I pulled all of our money, my family's money, out of stocks. So it didn't get hit by the COVID crash. But then I did a dumb thing, which I didn't dump any money back in at the bottom of the V because I thought it would be an extended crash, but the COVID crash went zoop and then straight back up. So I didn't get the money back into stocks until it was already back up to where it was in the first place. So it was as if I did nothing. This time around, I'm hoping if we get a crash to be able to dump some money into stocks when they're discounted by the widespread panic. And then I hope that we fix the debt, before it really craters everything and I get a nice little bump. But if you're skittish right now, there seems to be a few more days where you might be able to pull money out of stocks before the panic. Or on the other hand, I might not know beans. And, people say you can't time the market. So maybe that's bad advice. Lance?
Well, what happened is the Democrats spend irresponsibly. Right now, we have $32 trillion in debt. And what that means is basically we'll never be able to pay it off. Our debt is increasing dramatically over what we had during the Trump era.
Except Trump added $7 trillion.
But there's more spending and more debt under Biden. As a matter of fact, that's what's causing your inflation. The reason you can't pay for groceries is because the Democrats went crazy spending.
The reason you can't pay for groceries is because corporations have price gouged.
You're interrupting.
I am.
Yeah, stop that. So it's nothing to be proud of, Rick. So the thing is, the Democrats are spending a fortune. A lot of the things they spend on are irrelevant crap like climate change and weird projects for their buddies. There's a lot of corruption. They're emptying the nation's coffers. And all the Republicans are trying to get them to do is to stop spending so much. They're not saying that we won't raise the limit, or we just want some responsibility where they can start paying back the debt and not spend more than we did a year ago. So we can't keep increasing our $32 trillion debt, which there's really nobody knows how we'll ever pay that off. It's more than any nation can pay off. But it's going to get worse if the Democrats keep spending more than we can. So all the Republicans are trying
Producer
to
again, and
get is something, say a reasonable idea would be spend 5 cents less on every dollar for everything you've been spending on.
Mark, you were saying a thing?
no, saying this your friendly producer again. I had a quick question for both of you. Actually, this time, I think the gentleman that came and did some playing with the guitar looked like he was of possibly Spanish descent. I could be wrong, and all of that space. And there's this lovely thing about immigration. So I was wondering what's going on with this wall, and do we need to have a wall? Do we need to stop the immigration? What's
Oh
going on
no,
with this
oh
lovely
no.
wall?
Yeah, we're good. This will take the rest of the segment, but let me quickly respond. And it goes without saying, but I still will say it, that Republicans raised the debt ceiling 3 times under Trump without any, asking for limits on spending, including the tax cut for the corporations and the rich, which amounted to $2 trillion all by itself.
Well, we're spending more than we ever have.
We
And
passed the
and-
first infrastructure bill since the late 2015.
But most of that infrastructure money, people don't even know where it's going. The Democrats are just throwing money to their friends. That's all that's happening.
Our
Now,
actual
let me discuss
bridges,
immigration.
highways. Okay, now we have to go to immigration.
Okay, so under Trump, we had the lowest rate of illegal aliens coming in that we'd had in, I don't know, 60 years. Under Biden, we've got the most in history. The Biden administration is conservatively allowed in 5 million people in the past 2.5 years. 5 million people. And they did it on purpose. The Biden administration, what they're trying to do is to lower the wages for American blue. They're bringing in labor. Million immigrants that they have so far. They're shooting for 3 million a year. So, but what they want to do is they want to give them all citizenship so that they can vote in Democrats for the rest of time. And the Democrats will have a sort of a pliant, massive number of poorly educated people that will vote for them because they need to keep their citizenship. And they can impose the kind of Marxist dictatorship that they've always wanted.
The last
With
time
massive numbers of poor people wholly dependent on a government.
the last time we passed an immigration reform bill was under Reagan. And the last time Reagan was president was 1989, the year you and I met, 34 years ago. Now, Lance's immigration numbers are generally subject to me saying, frickin' Google it or DuckDuckGo it and see, because like numbers get like, are these people who actually got in, or these people who got turned away? It's like, and even if your 5 million number, even if that's accurate, the U.S. has a population of 332 million people. That's only 1.5% of 332 million. And without immigration, the U.S. population would actually decline. We are at an under replacement birth rate. And we have the lowest unemployment since 1969. So it's not like all these immigrants are severely depressing wages.
Okay, so of course they're depressing wages. One of the reasons we have unemployment is because people aren't paying
We have
Americans enough to work.
3.5% unemployment.
Okay, you've said so many terrible things. The first is that it's not up to the Democrats to solve our problems by bringing in millions and millions of people from other countries. We did not ask them for.
But it is the Congress's
No.
responsibility
nobody-
to figure out a system that works, and we haven't
Yeah,
had
we-
immigration
we-
reform in 30 years.
Okay. That's irrelevant to me. Your president is bringing in millions of people that nobody, not the Republicans or the average Democrat on the street, wants another 6 million people every 2 years to be pouring over the border. That's not something that we voted for. That's not something anybody wanted.
Most of those.
Wait, let me respond. You said a lot of,
All right,
a lot of
okay,
filth.
okay.
So the other thing is that it's not up to the Democrats to bring these people in to solve our labor shortages. That's not.
I'm not
that's
saying it
not
is. I'm just
patriotic.
saying that they're not depressing wages.
Of course, they're depressing wages. Every single low-skilled job is being taken by an illegal alien. All across the country, it used to be when you had low skills, you could get a job moving things or
Well,
working
then
in
it
the
seems
fields.
like that's on the employers who are employing these undocumented immigrants.
Right, but the Democrats have opposed any kind of e-verify that would punish the employers for hiring them. Moreover, you always, because you're a
There
mathematician,
are
wait,
penalties,
wait.
there are laws in place that
they're not
penalize-
being enforced. Because you're a mathematician, you always go to this mathematical argument, which I think is so absurd. Rick thinks that because it's only 1%, it doesn't matter because he only thinks of the math. If 1% of your body
Math is good.
if 1% of your body was cancer, that would be bad. If 1% of your lemonade was feces, that would be bad. So the math is not relevant. But even if it was, 1% is enough to turn every election Democrat. So if these were 6 million Republicans coming in every 2 years, you'd change your tune.
But without immigration reform, there's no path to citizenship for the vast majority of these people.
The Democrats
It takes-
the Democrats are already letting illegals vote in various counties around the country.
Maybe in, yes, school board elections, not for,
In Washington D.C., they want them to vote for all elections, and in New York City.
it's never going to happen for national.
What do you
or
mean it'll
state
never
level.
happen? I don't
All
trust
right, I
you.
can't
What, I'm
predict,
supposed
like,
to
all right,
trust
maybe
you?
aliens will come and make us all princesses. I don't know. But no, it's not, undocumented people will never be allowed to vote in presidential or senatorial or state legislative.
But
elections.
the Democrats around the country are already putting bills to ask that they be allowed to.
No, not for national office,
Yeah,
for no,
yeah. In Washington D.C. they're
Hey,
going-
Lance and Rick, just a quick question as I was listening to y'all debate back and forth and all of that. But this is for both of you. There are a lot of, and I'll just put it bluntly, and I'm in my 60s as well, lazy young people out there. So I know that here in the Carolinas and in other parts of the country, there are people that are working in construction. They're working in the maintenance fields, like doing lawns and stuff like that. A lot of times these are Hispanic folks. And if you would ask a lot of the young people of the country if they would take those jobs, quite a few of them would tell you hell to the no, because they are in some ways lazy. So isn't that part of the problem as well? Because we've got a lot of folks that even if they were offered those jobs that the quote unquote illegal aliens are taking, including farm work, they probably won't take it.
picking strawberries, for instance.
Okay, first of all, we've got machines that can pick fruit.
Well, then
and
that sounds like an AI problem.
So we haven't needed farm workers as much for the past 10 years.
So it's not illegal immigrants
Well-
or undocumented. It's freaking robots. Here come the robots.
Well, okay, so first of all, the Democrats have created a welfare system so that a lot of people don't have to work.
Hmm.
The Democrats have brought in cheap labor so the employers don't have to pay the kind of wages that people would work for. So those are the two problems.
You guys won't vote for a raise in the minimum wage that's been at $7.25 for what, 20 years?
I don't have to vote for a minimum wage. If we needed labor, we would pay people enough to make it worth it for them to work. But what the last thing I need to do is bring in millions of people, by the way, from countries that are emptying their prisons. There are
Bad
countries,
hombres? Are they
there
bad
are, there
hombres?
are countries emptying their prisons all the way from Asia through South America, through Africa, so that they can get rid of their own headaches, who are going to be coming to our country. They're going to be committing crimes. They're already raping and murdering all throughout the Southwest. The towns along the border are nightmarish now. And
But they're not nightmarish because of raping and murdering.
have you seen McAllen, Texas?
Well,
Have you seen San Antonio?
I just asked the guy who happens to be in our studio, who's from McAllen, Texas.
Yeah,
how it
that's
is
why
there.
I brought it up.
Is it a hellhole person who's from McAllen, Texas? Shaking his head, no.
Okay.
He's from there.
Let me put it to you this way. There are countries around the world emptying their prisons to send people to the U.S. We have to control the border. Under Trump, we had the lowest illegal aliens coming in. We need to go back to that. And
So-
furthermore, by the way, it's not just the crime and the taking of jobs. It's also exhausting our medical system. It's exhausting our schools. It's taking up all the cheap housing in the country. Every city, don't you talk. Every city, the rents are skyrocketing because the illegal aliens are filling up all the cheap areas of town, and people have nowhere to live.
That is.
Wait a minute. Are the rents skyrocketed because of that or because of the major apartment complexes raising their prices, even though in some cases they said that they wouldn't raise the prices during the pandemic, and then they said that you had to pay double or triple later on because you got to pay rent at some point or another. So it seems to me that as part of that might be all the corporations as well.
Okay, well, let me put it to you this way. If you bring 12 million people into a country every 4 years, they're going to occupy the low rent areas. And those low rent areas are going to force people out into the higher rent areas.
It's
a snowball effect.
It's not
and-
12
and-
million people in 4 years.
It's 6 million people in 2 years.
Google it.
Don't tell me to Google it.
Here,
What
now
is your
let's,
number?
let's have a song.
Let's have a song.
Time for a song.
We're having a song, producer.
Songs are good.
Hey, well,
Go on stage.
In
Run,
that
run,
case-
run.
Run.
Stage.
hello, everybody. It's time for a song, and I've been listening to this incredible conversation, and I thought maybe I'd put a little music. I thought I'd sum up more or less our super intriguing and our super smart and our super fascinating cast here of characters. And in short, this is what I've been able to gather. I'm smart, I'm marked, pillow talk, and Pink Panther's fart. We'll have a gay old time. Rider strike, strike one. Afghanistan strike two. 70s cocaine city of Charlie's Angels strike three. Read all about it. Read all about it. 2000 mule time. Underwear everywhere. Dinesh D'Souza. an investment into immigration of information. If you don't believe me, just Google it or duck, duck, go, go. An investment into the immigration of information. If you don't believe it, Google it or duck, duck, go, go. Employment and a deployment of reform that borders on the walls and bridges of undocumented immigration. In our minds of mathematics and construction, that workers of robots will do. Cheap favor, cheap labor, and a million bad hombres. Ah! Thank you very much. Hope you enjoying the music of your humble guitarist and tap hot Mad Hatter, JD Mata. Mwah!
Thank you, JD. Should we show a disaster that Lance just suffered? Can we take a
we'd
look?
we'd have to move everything around.
No, all we have to do is walk the computer over.
I can turn the camera.
One of the things that business owners forget a lot is to prepare for their own retirement.
Hi, my name's Nick Palavita, and today I'm with a very special guest, a certified financial planner, a chartered retirement plan specialist, and president of National Pension Partners, Max Couliet. Max, tell me what you do at National Pension Partners.
Well, Nick, we help successful small businesses and professionals put together retirement plans that provide them the maximum retirement benefits and big tax deductions at the same time.
Well, how do you do this?
Well, we get on an internet conferencing system with the client. We review their goals, what they want to accomplish, and then put together strategies to help them in implementing a retirement plan that benefits them, not everybody else.
Well, that sounds really good, but how much does this cost?
Well, it's really not bad because the first consultation is free. That allows us to go through and discover whether this strategy works for that business and for you as the business owner and helping you maximize your retirement.
Well, Max, how do we get this free appointment?
It's really pretty simple, Nick. You can either go to our website below or call us at 877-252-1692, and then we can set up a time with either myself, Nick, or one of our other retirement plan specialists, another CPA or advisor in the office to go over this with you and make sure it fits for you.
Hi, my name is Lewis Haupt. I work with National Pension Partners, and I work with businesses to allow them to put the maximum away that they can for themselves and to save taxes.
Hi, I'm Brad Coyle, and I'm the brokerage manager at National Pension Partners. We're always analyzing plan fund choices in order to ensure the participant's success.
If you want more information on how we can help you and your business put more money away in a retirement plan than you ever thought possible, contact us at the website below or call us at 877-252-1692.
The only trick you need to save time and money is to shop at Aldi. Aldi. Shop differently. Limitless length plus volume. Sensational from every angle. New Lash Sensational Sky High Mascara. Only from Maybelline, New York. Everything that touches your baby should be this comforting. Pampers Swaddlers. The #1 choice of hospitals is 2 times softer. All right, Trivago. Find me a hotel somewhere in Thailand where I can wake up with a view of the ocean. Awesome. The future. It's impossible to see. And when it's finally here, it might not be what you'd expect. It might just be better. Introducing Luxury Electric. Introducing Lucid Air. We're for those who love to discover, who don't need to travel to find something new, and who know when you spend less, you can discover even more at TJ Maxx and Marshalls. Smooth, velvety chocolate wrapped in precious gold. Ferrero Rocher.
At Shirley Lou & Associates, powered by First Financial Security, our mission is to help all people achieve financial security and peace of mind.
My team and I are here to help you reach financial security tomorrow and for generations to come.
She is one of the most sincere and compassionate people that I will ever meet in my life. She sincerely wants to build a legacy where no young woman that she meets is left destitute, that they are able to be self-sufficient, to provide for a family in an emergency, to build for their future and for our future generations.
At Shirley Lou and Associates, we are changing the face of insurance and retirement plans. Our mission is to lead, empower, and grow. We are the home of tax-free retirement. We provide comprehensive planning for businesses, rollovers for retirees, and individual personal financial planning.
I'm a very people-oriented person. It's important for me to make sure my clients feel in a safe environment, make sure I feel in a safe environment, that I can trust the people that I'm working with. And I feel that here working with Shirley and my team. These people are more like family to me.
Shirley has donated time and resources to the Shelter House, Women of Good Works, Good 360, Women That Soar, local churches, and the Lisa Initiative. The Lisa Initiative helps inform, educate, and empower women and their families' financial security. We believe entrepreneurship is a possibility for all walks of life.
Reach out to us. We would love to have a conversation to see how we can help.
When you see me, don't assume you know. But before you fall into conclusions, let me pick you up. You see, I am not Spanish. Yo hablo español. Spanish people come from Spain, and that is not where my family comes from. My family comes from a little island in the Caribbean that Taínos used to call home. And when the Spanish invaded the island, Hispanics is what we were called. But the word doesn't do justice to the now diversity amongst us, because I am as light as the mornings of Barcelona. I am as dark as the nights of El Congo. I am blessed by the Yaya of the Taínos. I am a glorious mix of my ancestors. Yo soy mulata, but I am history. I am the voice. I am the knowledge that will live on. I am rhythm. I am flow. I am the merengue my daughter will teach her sons. I am courage. I am hope. I am the arroz con habichuela my sons will feed their sons. I am a versatile yet pungent tongue that will hurt your ears but will get her point across. I am loud. I am proud. I am the sun who will not apologize for its color or for being born. I am Oscar de la Renta, Alex Rodriguez, Maria Montes. I am Zoe Saldaña, Amelia Vega, Julia Alvarez. I am just one of the many outcomes when you mix and shake things up. Each one evolving, making a difference in this world. So when you see me, don't assume you know. But if you ask me, my pride will show. I am one of the many faces of America, and this is where I belong. I am the daughter of Dominican immigrants who proudly call the U.S. home. I am Dominican American for those who ask and care to know.
Hello, it's Naked at Night with JD, Lance, and Rick. So Lance has not made super much progress on me because I've been moving my head around too much. You want to show that turn that to the main camera or that one.
All right, so this is half done, and I blame it all on Rick, as well as inflation and our other problems.
Let's show the misfortune you suffered earlier today.
Oh, I don't know if I can move this. Something I worked on for 4 years collapsed, And
It fell off the stand.
I can't move it.
No,
So,
but can we move the camera
Yeah, I
over
can
to
move it
show
if you
that?
want to.
Yeah, I'll move.
One of my sculptures' heads fell off, and it's never good when anything you've been working on is completely destroyed. But I'm so used to it now that it really doesn't bother me. You know,
Well,
I'll
even the
figure it
wreckage
out.
is, you're going to be able to fix her,
I
right?
think I can fix her. Yeah, it's just another challenge.
This lady, I mean,
So anyway, that used to be a, can you see? All right, turn the thing. So this is the typical life that I have. So
just that
she-
zoom.
yeah. I don't know if you can see this, but this used to be a person. Can you see it now? You see it? Anyway, this used to be a fine head
Can you
sculpture,
bring the camera?
and
Just pick
now
it up
it's
and bring it
completely
up.
destroyed.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, let's just bring the whole thing.
Well, that's okay. Let's
wait to get another couple feet closer.
All right, so yeah, as you can see inside the sculpture, this is partly my fault too, because about 3 weeks ago, I noticed this little piece of metal sticking out. And I thought, why is that metal there? It's just causing trouble. So I chopped it off. And since then, the sculpture's been tilting and tilting. And today, while I was working on it, her head just fell apart. So if you see something, don't just cut it off. It might be important.
Also,
Let's get back to
that's
arguing.
been a head for what, 4 years, you said?
Yeah, it used to be a whole body, and
It used
that,
to be a 6-foot woman.
and that collapsed too.
And her body just melted one hot summer day.
Yeah, but I'm really a good sculptor. I'm really competent. Don't worry about a thing.
Yeah, well, so can we
I'll
blame,
take care of
can we
this.
blame the loss of that lady on climate change because that clay got too hot and it
You know
just.
what? Now I really am worried about climate change. You're right. I didn't know it was going to affect me, a Republican. By the way, as far as climate change goes, let's get this straight. I don't believe in it. I think climate change is just a way the Democrats can scare us and take our money and regulate us. I think there was recently released a UN report that was leaked that says the temperature on Earth hasn't really changed in the past 15 years. So I'm done with climate change. I'm done with lockdowns. I'm done with COVID. I don't believe in any of that stuff. You can't fool me now.
Is there anything that Hannity or Tucker Carlson believes that you disagree with?
Hannity doesn't think the elections were rigged. So I disagree with him on that.
Is there
lost
any
all
part of
interest.
the spectrum of conservative stuff that you?
Oh, you know what? Conservatives are split on support for Ukraine.
Well, you want Ukraine to prevail against Russia,
I
right?
I would like it to, but there are, first of all, it wouldn't have happened if we had intervened in the very beginning with diplomacy. And secondly, we don't know where a lot of that money is going. We're
All right,
sending
that
we're sending the
aside,
money.
is-
If we can determine that the money is being used wisely, and it's not just being split up by Ukrainian oligarchs, I think a strong argument could be made that we need to keep the fight going.
Right, and you
But
prefer a proxy war where Ukraine depletes Russia's military resources and without Americans having to go to war against.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't have to do any of it if Trump has said that we could negotiate our way out of the war. And Biden doesn't seem capable of it. So I would be anxious to see what Trump suggests. I have a feeling that what Trump would say would do is say, look, we're going to cut off all support to Ukraine unless they agree to territorial concessions. So my opinion is that
What, give him part of the Donbass?
We might have to do something
Yeah,
like
but
that
then he
because
just chips away.
I understand, but
he took Crimea under Obama.
Yeah, yes.
And
the Donbass under Biden.
And
notice how he left him alone under Trump.
Yeah, because they were friends. He didn't
So yeah, right. Putin does things because he's friends with someone. What happened
They
was
were super friends.
What
Trump
happened?
and Putin
What
were
happened?
super friends.
What happened was Putin respected Trump, so he didn't invade countries under Trump, but he invaded countries under Obama and Biden. Now
Because he
let me
didn't like
let me
him.
okay. So let me finish. So the problem is that Ukraine might just lose the whole war.
It doesn't look like they're doing it that bad.
Yeah, they're losing. And so the question is, we can keep giving them armaments, but if they're going to lose the whole war, somebody may have to step in and say, look, you
How are they losing? Because they're not.
They just keep losing territory in battles. They just lost a major 2 or 3 major strategic cities this week that your media, the Democrats, didn't want you to know about, but I know. So I'm saying I would love Ukraine to win, but they may have to make a concession somewhere to survive as a nation. So that has to
Do you
be
think
considered.
Putin is dying? Do you think, or
I don't think it matters if Putin dies. Russia has set their mind that they're going to take over Ukraine, which I'm vehemently against. But I think we need a different approach if we're starting to lose.
Hey, Lance, are you just worried about the Ukraine, or how do you feel about some people are wondering if China isn't taking over the entire world, including the U.S. and Africa? So there are some people that are concerned about China more so than they are Ukraine and Russia. So are you worried at all about the Chinese influence in the world?
Well, what I'm worried about is that China has given on record the new congressional investigations into the Biden bank accounts and Hunter Biden's laptop have revealed that the communist Chinese, don't you say a word, have given $40 million at least to Biden and Biden's family. And I think that's how they were able to bribe the Biden family into letting them send a spy balloon that crossed the country. There was no excuse for that. That balloon should have been shot down. That balloon went right over very important secret military installations throughout our country. And furthermore, the communist Chinese have pretty much blockaded Taiwan. They're sending their aircraft en masse, giant wings of aircraft daily, violating Taiwan's airspace. And the Biden administration, if they cared, would be sending a part of our Atlantic fleet over to the Pacific and organizing our allies, Australia, Japan, and South Korea, to defend Taiwan. But they're not. They're letting the Chinese encroach and encroach and encroach. And I believe part of the reason is that Biden has been bought off.
I think that's, well, it's horseshit, but I do believe.
That's a good argument, by the way.
No, it's a terrible
Very
argument.
subtle.
Now, this is another theme of the show where Lance says something that he's gotten from Hannity or podcasts.
I thought it up on my own, Rick.
Or whatever with his thinking, because he does art all day and then he thinks conservative thoughts and comes up with crap. Whereas I'm arguing on Twitter all day in a towel. In the summer, I tweet in a towel. In the winter, I tweet in a bathrobe. Then I take a nap, and then I try to get dressed before my wife comes home from work at 1 p.m. So I'm often unprepared and can't respond to Lance's BS, even though I know it's BS. But China, I mean, what we need, I believe, is a push for to make sure that we maintain technological superiority, the same kind of push we had when we had a national freak out when in 1957 or 58, back when your dad was creating the Pink Panther, when Russia, the Soviet Union, became the first nation to put a satellite in orbit. And it scared the crap out of America. And there was a major push for science education, which resulted In today's computer industry, in today's tech billionaires, that education push in the 60s that got us to the moon and educated this crop of approaching elderly billionaires put us on top technologically. And we need another push because China has 4 times our population, and they are an entrepreneurial dictatorship. They can push their people around. They have 4 times our population. They're pushing their people from the farms into the cities. Each week, a new Chinese city passes 1 million population. They have close to 250 cities of 1 million people or more, cities devoted to manufacturing and technology. And they will, in the words of Daniel Day-Lewis, they will drink our milkshake.
I thought that's what we were having that super rich space war. You know, we had the Russia-U.S. space war. Now we got the space war with all the millionaires trying to figure out who's going to get up to space first, because I think they're all trying to escape the planet. So we got, Elon Musk going up there. We got Bezos going up there. We got Richard Branson going up there. As if he ain't got no problems with his both ship and planes and everything else. But they all seem to be going up to the space and having this millionaire space war while the rest of us stay down here on Earth.
Space is BS. We were all excited about space in the 60s. Every time there was a new Apollo launch, they pulled everybody out of class, they rolled out the TV, and we all watched the launch. But if you look now, people aren't interested much in it's vaguely interesting, especially if a rocket blows up. But our priority is inner space by way of technology, the technology that fits in our hand. Information technology. We're not going to gain much in the near future from trying to colonize Mars and the moon. The dust on the moon is super spiky. They don't have wind or water to round out that sand. That sand is super corrosive on the moon, and it's going to make for terrible conditions to try to make a colony. There's the problem of radiation. We are protected from radiation by our magnetic field and by a thick atmosphere here on Earth. On Mars, no, you get cooked. You're going to get cancer. It's a fool's errand to think we're going to get anything in the near future except maybe some improved technology from trying to put people on Mars.
Yeah, Rick and Lance, as we wind down on this week 1 of the episodes and everything, I had one quick question for you, Rick, and I had one for Lance and everything. But for you, I'm trying to see if I understand this, because it seems to me, and yes, I know big words every once in a while too, that you are an oxymoron. And I want to know if your wife knows that you're an oxymoron, because you just admitted that you were a bum because you were doing all this tweet and stuff that folks would do if they were being a bum, but you're a super smart bum. So that would be like an oxymoron. So would you admit that you are somewhat of an oxymoron?
Oh yeah, my Twitter handle is dumbass genius, because for every smart thing I do or say, I say 2 or 3 or do 2 or 3 things that are absolutely stupid. I kept going back to high school. I wanted to do high school right. What kind of idiot is still in high school at age, the last time I graduated high school, I was 27 years old. I spent hundreds of hours taking IQ tests. That is ridiculous. I go to the gym 5 times a day. That because of OCD and just because I like the numbers. And I've averaged 4.705 workouts a day for the past 32 years and 4 months. That is insanity.
What was the mega test you took? That's the one I think is the most impressive. The one that you're the only one that ever passed it.
The Titan test, which was the sequel to the mega test, thought to be the hardest IQ test ever written. And I got the only perfect score on it.
Yeah, I don't know how.
What is that worth? Nothing. Stephen Hawking said, if you have to, and people who brag about their IQs are losers. This is a very smart guy.
What's that old quote? The definition of insanity: doing the same thing over and getting the something about the results.